Hey y'all, it's me Grayson back at it again with another video, and today I want to talk to you about how I'm a fast guy. I'm a fast talker, I'm a fast thinker, and I'm a fast finisher, but most importantly, I'm probably the fastest person in the world at this one thing, and that's beating Arthur's Camping Adventure in record time. In fact, I hold the world record for it. But ironically enough, what isn't fast is setting up Arthur's Camping Adventure on modern computers, and it's even harder to record it and make it actually look okay on streams. Let me demonstrate. So here's where all the magic happens, and before I get into my setup and how to actually do this and what I went through, I first want to set the mood with some music. So let's go do that.
I must be dreaming, you're too good to be true. Who could imagine there'd be someone like you? So near perfect.
Now that that's settled, let's get our glasses on, our drinks out, and let me show you what's up.
For they have sent me an angel like you. Are you an illusion? Am I just a fool? Show me what to do.
So the first part about the first issue we have to deal with is actually finding Arthur's Camping Adventure, the file, because I doubt many of you actually have the CD-ROM of it, and for most people, cut. So the first thing we need to do is actually find the ISO for Arthur's Camping Adventure, because I doubt many people actually have the CD-ROM for it still, right? And that could be a serious problem. And I don't think people want to go looking on Pirate Bay to pirate Arthur's Camping Adventure, and I sure as heck don't want a video of me pirating on YouTube. I didn't say I don't mind pirating, but for the purpose of this video, I do not condone piracy. It's bad, don't do it. It's exactly as bad as stealing a car. You wouldn't steal a car, don't download music. So y'all know archive.org, right? It's like, I'm pretty sure it's actually like a government thing. A government-run organization. Either way, it's very, very official. And they have like archives of a whole bunch of things, including Arthur's Camping Adventure for some reason. And it's on here. So all you gotta do is just download the ISO image and you're good. So now that we have this, you'd think, oh, we can just run it, right? Because I'm on a Windows PC and Windows has a lot of great support. So what we get is this folder opening up called the DVD drive Arthur C. And that means that this disk is mounted here. So what we want to do is go to setup.exe. This app cannot run on your PC. Why? Because on 64-bit versions of Windows 10, Microsoft disabled 16-bit compatibility, which makes no sense because Windows 7 does it just fine on the same hardware. It's just because Microsoft doesn't want it. So, our next option is to run it in a VM or a virtual machine or like an older operating system that can actually run it. And my operating system of choice for this is going to be Windows XP. Now, the way we want to run Windows XP on a modern machine is without actually installing the OS, is using something called VMware, which is a handy-little program that I believe is free for non-commercial use. Now, again, to avoid issues with the law, we do not want to pirate Windows XP. Luckily for us, Microsoft has a solution. So, I'm going to be using an article. The link will also be in the description that gives a lot of instructions on how to do what I'm about to explain, or you can just follow along in the video. Now, there's this thing called Microsoft Windows XP mode, which I believe was something designed for Windows 7 to make it easy to install and run many of your productivity programs that run on Windows XP directly from a computer that runs Windows 7, which basically runs a VM itself. But Windows XP mode doesn't really work on Windows 10, but inside of it, it contains an operating system, like the full Windows XP operating system, which we can then extract and put into a virtual machine. So, first things first, let's download. So you're going to want to make sure to get the one without the N in it, and only choose the one that has Windows XP mode _en-us.exe. So then we're going to go to next, and I believe it's going to get you to install Bing Toolbar, unless it doesn't. Last time I did this it did. So I'm going to install this to my desktop, and then we just wait. Okay, so once we have the Windows XP mode file, what you want to do is not run it. First you want to make a new folder. I'm going to make one and call it Windows XP mode. So the thing is, this is assuming you have 7-zip installed. So if you don't, go install that. I mean, like, I'll put a link in the description if you really want. So what you want to do is scroll down 7-zip, and then go to Open Archive. And then from there, you'll see a little thing that says Sources, and then go to XPM. Copy all those, drag them to wherever, and put them in your Windows XP mode folder. So be patient, this is going to take a little bit to install, but no worries. It's still going to be less time than finding a way to pirate Windows XP, and it's actually like supported by Microsoft. So like there's that. Once everything's actually copied over, the next thing you're going to want to do is go into that folder and find a file called Virtual XP VHD. Now, what you're going to want to do is go to Rename, and now move your arrow key move your cursor until between P and V, and put a period and press enter. And just like that, you have a virtual hard disk which is going to work in VMware. Keep in mind you need a VMware installed at this point, link in the description. So the next thing you're going to want to do is open up VirtualBox. And then just click that, wait for it to open. First thing you want to do is click New, then click Expert Mode, because we're some experts here, come on, you can't run Arthur's Camping Adventure on a simple guided mode. Come on. So then, name it what you want. I'm going to name mine Arthur 2 because I tried this once and it just wasn't sustainable. So I found this method works a lot better. Then you're going to want to give yourself some memory, right? I think 1 gigabyte of RAM works just fine for these kind of things. You don't really need that much. You're going to be running like probably old DOS games, if not just Arthur's Camping Adventure. If for some reason you want to try to beat my record, I mean, the more the merrier on the leaderboards. So next you click Use an existing hard disk file, and then once you do that, then go ahead and click that folder icon and search for that file that we just created earlier when we renamed it. So I'm going to go to desktop here, scroll down to Windows XP mode, and go to Virtual XP. When you're done, it should look something like this. Make sure you actually have the version set to Windows XP. And when you set your version, it's going to reset the amount of memory, so make sure to put that back on 1024 megabytes, which is around 1 gig, or exactly 1 gig, depending on who you're talking to, and then click Create. Before you boot up, though, you're going to want to tweak some things. So let's go to Settings here. Wait for it to load again. Then go to Systems, and then Boot Order, and then uncheck Floppy. You don't want that anymore. No, sir. And then from there, you're going to want to promote hard disk to the top of the pile. And this is to ensure that it makes a boot from the hard drive, and instead of a floppy disker starts looking for any of those things that aren't actually there, and you're just going to boot off of an image on the hard drive. Next thing you're going to want to do is go to Display and set your video memory to 128 megabytes. So while we wait for this to start up, I'm going to pour myself another glass of delicious, delicious milk. So we're just going to go through the basic install process. I can trust you know how to do this. It's not that difficult. And I mean, if you're not smart enough to do this, frankly, you're not smart enough to do Arthur's Camping Adventure. So, sorry, buddy. So now that we have Windows XP set up, we can finally get to installing Arthur's Camping Adventure. So first we're going to want to go to Devices, Optical Drives, and choose Disk Image. What we're going to want to do from there is locate that ISO that we downloaded earlier. I'm just going to scroll down, click Arthur's Camping Adventure ISO, and we should be off to the races. Now from here, it's a very simple installation. It will probably pop up by default as such, but if not, just go to the disk in My Files. It's not that hard on Windows XP, which is why it's the best operating system. So what we do is we go to Yes, and just like that, install starts. So all we need to do is just click play, and because we don't have a printer installed, all we need to do is just click Yes again, and we're in. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all it takes. It's just a very long, unnecessary process to install Arthur's Camping Adventure on a computer to speedrun it. And frankly, it's an overcomplicated process for a exactly the right amount appreciated game. Thank you for joining me on this video. I actually put a whole lot of work and time into it, even though it's such a stupid topic. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you actually got some entertainment value out of this, because I sure actually enjoyed making this video. Alright, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.